What's good, guys? I'm Dave, and in this video I'm going to share a few things about the Peloton Bike Plus that I wish that I had known before I got one, and I'll also share a few features about Peloton that you might not know about if you don't already have a bike. There are a lot of videos like this on YouTube, but a lot of the things that they talk about are just normal features of the bike that you would find if you did some Googling or searched on Reddit. This is not one of these videos. You'll learn something new. If you've done any research on the Bike Plus so far, you already know that the screen is bigger, the sound is better, the screen swivels, and it adjusts resistance for you. You already know that stuff. We're not going to get into any of that. If you're still on the fence about getting a Peloton in general, I've had mine for about 6 months. I average about 4 or 5 rides a week, depending on if I'm traveling. I love this thing. I would say about 95% of people who get it use it and love it. Okay, let's jump into this video and talk about some things I wish I had known about the Bike Plus and Peloton. First, no one really talks about this on the Bike or the Bike Plus, but the power cord for the Bike Plus is on the seat side of the bike near the floor. So it's not near the handlebars or the screen, it's on the other side. If you're trying to figure out where you're going to put your Peloton, you're probably looking at plugs and trying to figure out which direction you want your bike to face. But if you just heard that and you were like, oh crap, because you thought that the plug was on the front of the bike, I wouldn't worry about it too much. The power cord is really long, so you can actually just run it underneath your bike and still plug it in on the screen side if that's what you need, and you'll have a ton of cord left. It's a pretty long power cord. I thought that the power cord was going to be on the screen side because that's where the screen is and all the magic happens, but I was surprised to learn that it was on the seat side. It ended up working out fine for me because I do run the cord underneath the bike, and since you're sitting on the seat and you're a little bit higher up, you're not going to end up hitting the power cord with your feet, but it certainly doesn't look as clean. So if you care about cord management or the outlet for your Peloton is pretty far away, definitely keep in mind that the plug is on the seat side. It's on the back of the bike. For some reason, the weight holder that's underneath the seat of your Peloton bike seat on the Bike Plus is made out of plastic instead of metal like it is on the standard bike. While the plastic does match the plastic water bottle holder that's on the front of the bike, the problem is that this holder is a lot more fragile than the metal weight holder that's on the standard bike, and you could definitely break it if you put weights in that are too heavy or you did something weird, you slammed it against the wall, and that really sucks when you just paid over $2,000 for a bike. I got the 3-pound Peloton bike weights with my Bike Plus. I just really wanted to make sure they'd fit, so I got them directly from Peloton. You probably wouldn't want to put more than 5 pounds, maybe 7 at the most in these things, but realistically, these weights, while they sound incredibly light, they get very, very heavy when you're doing a ton of reps and the same motion over and over. Just don't overload the holder, especially on the Bike Plus. You don't want to break this. And realistically, if you're going to be doing the Peloton strength workouts and the other stuff that's included with your subscription, you're going to have heavier weights that you'll want to keep on the floor or on their own rack. You're not going to want to put them on your bike. Okay, another thing that I knew a little bit about, but I wish I had looked into more, is there are not a lot of third-party accessories available for the Bike Plus. For the original Peloton bike, there are all kinds of things. You can attach your cell phone to the screen, you can make your screen swivel, which takes away some of the benefits of the Bike Plus. There is different cell phone storage, shoe storage, you can turn your bike into a desk if you just want to do a scenic ride. Very few of those things exist on the Bike Plus, but for the regular bike, if you can think of something that you're like, someone should make that thing, someone probably already has. And for the Bike Plus, some of these things exist, but very few of them have good reviews. A lot of them say that they're made for the Bike Plus, but then you look into the reviews and people say, hey, this thing actually doesn't fit or it doesn't work well with the Bike Plus because the weight attachment is different, the screen setup, the handlebars are different, and some of these things, like some of the bike desks out there for the Bike Plus, actually can damage the finish on your handlebars, and you don't want to do that. I had done a quick search before getting the Bike Plus and I was like, oh, okay, there's a bunch of things. But then I looked closer and there are just very few good accessories for the Bike Plus. Pretty much all I have is putting a little tray on my handlebars to hold my cell phone and my headphones on there. That's it. Other than that, you're pretty screwed when it comes to getting anything that's not directly from Peloton for the Bike Plus. If you're enjoying this video so far, please give it a like to help more people find it. Now back to the video. Next, let's talk a little bit about calibration. According to Peloton, the bikes are supposed to be calibrated to about 10% of each other when they leave the factory. This makes a difference when it comes to the leaderboard, your output, and if you might be competing with a friend. In general, most people say that the original bike gives you more credit for the work that you're putting in compared to the Bike Plus. That being said, every now and then you'll do a ride and on the leaderboard you'll see someone at the very top with hilariously high numbers because their bike is calibrated wrong and they're basically a superhero. And if your calibration gets messed up on the original bike, it's a manual fix. You have to get some tools, you have to tinker with it, do some testing, and see if you can get it where you think it should be. On the Bike Plus, however, calibration is built into the bike, so instead of having to bust out the tools and go through that whole thing, you just tap the screen and go to your device settings and the bike will recalibrate for you. If you're worried about this kind of thing, this automatic calibration might be a godsend for you. I've never had to do it myself, but I know that it's there in case I ever need it. Now let's talk about a few general Peloton things that you might not know if you already have a bike, starting with the pause button that didn't exist until the winter of 2021. For a really, really long time, there was no pause button on the Peloton Bike or Bike Plus. So if you gotta pee, too bad, you gotta leave the workout. Someone's at the door or a package is arriving that you've gotta sign on, gotta leave the workout. Your dog is throwing up, you gotta make a call. You're either gonna leave the workout or you're gonna watch them throw up on the floor. Now you can pause on-demand classes on your bike or Bike Plus, and this can be really, really helpful. Obviously, you can't pause live workouts for a number of reasons. It would be Zach Morris-like. 10,000 people would be waiting for you to get back from the bathroom. That doesn't make any sense. However, if you know that you're going to be someone who's motivated by the leaderboard and you like to see where you stand when it comes to doing a ride, you do lose your spot on the leaderboard when you hit the pause button. And honestly, I don't know why anyone would do this, but they do this to prevent gaming. So someone can't sprint as hard as they can, hit the pause button, take a nap for 2 hours, and then come back, sprint super, super hard again, and repeat this over and over and over to get to the top of the leaderboard. And because the pause button prevents that from happening, I think that's pretty fair, and really, who really cares at the end of the day? So if you ever need to pause a ride, you can just tap the screen, hold down the pause button, and get to whatever you need to do, and then you can come back to your bike when you're ready. Next, I also didn't know about this before I had a Peloton bike, but you can stack workouts, which basically means that you can create a playlist of different things that you want to do that day when you're working out with your bike. So let's say you want to do a warm-up, a ride, and a cool-down. This is probably a pretty common thing that people want to do with their bike. Instead of just doing one workout, having to stop, find another one, and do it over again as many times for as many classes and things that you feel like taking that day, you can just stack them so that they'll show up on your screen one after another, which can be very, very helpful. There's a stack icon on the Peloton app, so you can just jump seamlessly from class to class, and this can be a pretty awesome way to do a bunch of classes in one day. This isn't something that I personally do very often, but I could see why people do it. For me, I just get on the bike, start, and go. That's my big reason why I love the Peloton, so I don't really like searching around and trying to find all this stuff. But if you're someone who maybe wants to do a ride with a strength workout and finish with some yoga, you have a lot of time that day, you can stack all of these one after another, and that's pretty cool. Okay, so those are a handful of things that I wish that I knew about my Bike Plus and Peloton before I got one. They're a little bit more unusual. Hopefully you learned something new from this video. And of course, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button and share it with that person who you're trying to convince to let you get the Peloton Bike Plus. Thanks so much for watching and happy riding!